The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Welcome to Love Your Body, Love Your Life. My name is Jenna. I'm the author of the book titled Love Your Body, Love Your Life, 52 Tips That Will Radically Change Your Health. You can find my book on Amazon and on barnesandnoble.com. I'm excited to be here. We had a little bit of technical issues backstage before we are live now. And it's interesting because we're talking about Pilates today. We're talking about exercise. And I mean, really, I was thinking about how I was going to introduce the show. And this is the exact reason why I exercise daily, because life happens. And for me, exercise is all about a mind-body connection, getting out of my thinking mind and into my body. And, it was stressful trying to get on the show. We had to take some deep breaths, decompress, and that's what exercise does for you. So I think this is just perfect timing, this technical issue that we had. I have Leah, from the owner of Eastbluff Pilates. It's a boutique Pilates studio here in Newport Beach, Orange County, California, where we both reside. It's an amazing little boutique Pilates studio. I feel like it's like a family, and I'm sure Leah will talk to us all about that. So without further ado, Leah, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jenna, thank you for having me.
Of course. I know. I was just, I don't know. How do you feel about that? That's why I exercise, Leah. I've been exercising on a daily basis, to be honest, since I was in my early 20s. Well, even, a teenager. And, anybody that knows me well knows that even if I have a busy day, I will fit in a 20-minute walk, a 30-minute walk. I've been known to run in the rain. I mean, it's just, it gets me out of this mind, that's always going.
Of course. No, me too. And like you were prefacing and introing us, I'm not a techie. I'm in fitness. I'm mind body. And of course I'm like, okay, Leah, channel your inner wellness. Oh, it's just an interview.
Right. Yeah, I know. And anything, it's like that fight or flight just comes right in, exactly. Any kind of little stress that, trust me, Leah, I am not, I don't go through my day zen, that's why I do go to exercise,
Exactly. It definitely helps balance everything from day to day. I think a lot of my clients come in flustered and emotional, and they leave usually just smiling and well.
Mm-hmm. What do you think it is, Leah? What exactly do you think it is? Do you think it's just actually getting out of the routine, like your daily routine, that, just that upliftment, I guess, after a class?
No, that's a really good question, because I'm a class junkie. I take classes all over town if I'm traveling anywhere. And sometimes you have a bad class and it doesn't leave you uplifting. And so I think that it's a safe place, A. B, you got to feel comfortable in your environment and feel well directed and instructed. And like, okay, I'm not just flabbergasting around, and you know what you're doing and you're doing it correctly. And then you feel better about yourself because you go, I did that. I aced it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just curious, like, talk to me about a bad class. Like, what has been your experience in a bad class? Like, what is that to you?
A bad class is an instructor that constantly has to reference her notes, or he or she, their notes. When they keep going back and checking, okay, and next we're going to do, or it's choppy, it doesn't flow, or it's all about reading the room, right? So if I see someone over there like, not into it, and someone over there, they want more, you have to be able to read that room. With Eastbluff Pilates, it's a boutique studio, so you can read the room. It's not like there's 40 people in there or even 15 people in there. It's boutique. So all of our instructors and the studio in general gets it. And this is why I like these boutique fitness studios, and we all support one another.
I mean, I agree with that, Leah, just because personally I'm a total empath. So like sometimes, I mean, I've walked in, so a lot of energy affects me easily, so I tend to like at your studio, that's one of the reasons why I love it.
Oh,
good. Yeah, because there's only I think five people to a class. 5 people to a class. That's easy because I do pick up on other energies of other people. And I like what you said about feeling safe, because that's super important,
especially with fitness. Yeah.
Because you're open when you're exercising. Yeah.
Literally.
Literally open. Yeah. Whenever I go to like a some like a, I don't know, cycle class or even a yoga class that there's tons of people that can come in, I always like them in the corner. Like I just want to be by myself. I don't want to talk. I just want to process my day and my thoughts.
Yep.
So it's interesting what you bring up, because I guess I never really thought about how much that goes into teaching a class.
It really does. And it's great that you see that and feel it, because me too. When I go take classes, I take that back corner because I feel safe. And sometimes I'll go to a yoga class and they're like, hug your neighbor. And I'm like, well, I don't know them. I would just like to lay in child pose right now. And I think, I don't know, I go into it like you, and I want to be in my place and feel me. And then as an instructor, I feel you. So, and everybody else coming.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk to me, Leah, about like what led you to Pilates, like this kind of exercise.
Right. Okay. Love Pilates. Wish I had discovered it so much sooner. High school, college, dancer, gymnast, cheerleader. And I took everything from Taebo. Remember Taebo?
I do.
Step aerobics. Right?
Yes, of course.
Zumba. And one day that got expensive. So I joined like the sports club, which was the old Equinox down the street. And so I joined there. And with your membership, you got a free Pilates one-on-one. Because back then, 16 years ago, there was no group classes. It was only one-on-one. And I fell in love. And I spent every dollar I had on those private sessions and loved it. That's what led me to it, shockingly, was a gym membership.
What did you love about it that was different than these other routines?
I think what I loved most about it was being a dancer. It had this element of choreography. So it's that mind body, it gets your mind off things, right? Because you're like, okay, A, B, then C. So you can't really think about your daily activities or what's coming next or your grocery list. You're thinking about A, B, and C, the movements. And so I loved that mind-body connection, but also I liked the preciseness of it. I loved it when my instructor would say, you're an 1/8 of an inch off. And I would just go like, yes, I'm an 1/8 of an inch off. And also my body just felt amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. How about you? How'd you discover Pilates?
Oh, thank you for asking. So I was a big runner as, teenage years, all through my 20s. I ran 2 marathons. And I discovered Pilates I was thinking about it actually in 2001. And I was running a lot, and, running is hard on the body. And somebody told me that I should go try a class and do Pilates to just get my joints limber again.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did, and I was hooked,
Yeah.
take away the results, because, that's the one thing about Pilates, is that you see the results in like record time. So I thought I was in shape, with all the running, and obviously I was younger, so it was easy for me to be really lean. But once I started doing Pilates, I was like, wow, I didn't know I could get this much in, like, this defined. And, I just saw a different body after my class.
And you know what? Ditto. I'm embarrassed to say, like, I used to like bodybuild, and I was thick. And when I discovered Pilates, it just lengthened me out. And I went, how pretty is that? That's pretty. And meanwhile, I'm like, I can lift 50 pounds over my head back in my 20s, which we shouldn't do that. We should not do that.
Right. Leah, I can never see you thick.
Not now. I was.
I can't believe that, but I'll take your word for it. No, it's truly, I think lightweights are good for women. But I don't see why we should, as women, be lifting all this great, crazy.
And it's also about age, right? Like, again, how we were saying, like running in our 20s, right? That pound on pound closed-ended surface. Back then, it was fine for our knees and our hips and our ankles. But now it's wearing and tearing, and it happens, unfortunately. I've been in the business now 16 years, and I've had clients for 16 years, and I've seen them progress, and myself as well. So
yeah. So okay, so you fell in love with Pilates as an exercise, and then what shifted you to actually want to open up the studio?
Well, that's interesting, because again, I had like this 9-to-5 job, and I spent every dollar, my entire paycheck, on these private lessons. And my boyfriend, now husband at the time, said, well, you love it so much, why don't you just teach it? I said, well, you're right, maybe I should. So I went through the certification and did my hours, and it just kind of happened organically. The studio itself came about, though. I had been teaching 6 or 7 years at multiple studios. That's what you do as a new instructor. You don't have a following, but no one knows who you are, and you're 20. So everyone's like, yeah, what does she know? So I worked at a few different studios, gained a following, and then happened to find a really small boutique location in our neighborhood. And it led me to it. And the studio's been open now almost 11 years.
Isn't that just wild that, like, it's like your calling kind of just sometimes comes to you? Like,
right.
I'm curious, what did you do before? Like, what was your 9-to-5 job?
Oh, like marketing, sales.
Yeah.
Something I was very uncomfortable with, and still today I'm not good at, because when a new client comes in, I go, oh, don't worry about buying a package. We'll talk about it later. No pressure.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm still to this day terrible at sales, because I think if you want it, you'll go and buy it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel the same way. My full-time gig is real estate, but I'm not a salesperson at all. I'm more creative, and like, I want to be like fun and let's go see a house, but I'm not salesy,
Exactly. But at the end of the day, if they want a house, they'll make an offer, right? So
if they fall in love with the house, exactly.
The best you can do is entertain the house and show it well. So you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And ditto here.
I think I am. So, okay. So you open the studio, Leah, and then now you're like boss woman, right? Are you married at this time? Are you still dating? Like,
oh no, still married, 13 years, 2 kids later. And my husband still comes to the studio. My kids come to the studio. It's like you said earlier, like it really is. It's a home away from home. It's a family for me. It's a family for the clientele. It's a family for my instructors that work at the studio. It's a safe space. And
I mean, it really is. I've been to a lot of Pilates studios, and I think your team and your girls, like all the instructors, they're just adorable. And it's like the vibe is so just I don't know. It's just true. And people are connected,
Yes.
like people are connected in a cool way, and I think that says a lot about you, first of all, because did you train them or how does that work?
Yeah. I mean, like some of them I sourced where I would just feel their energy and their vibe from other studios, and I'd poach them after class and say, hey, have you ever thought about Pilates? But a lot of interviewing, a lot of just this is the clientele and this is how to read the room, and always ask them, how are they feeling? How are you feeling? I mean, every day's different, and I get clients coming in happy or sad or stressed, and I think it's important for the team to go off that energy, not just like what we're instructed to do.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, that's with anything, right? It's like you can feel it when somebody is authentic and present with you versus like going off the sheet kind of thing.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm curious, Leah, can we touch on just a little bit of history about Pilates? I know Joseph Pilates has an amazing story, and I want to share that with people because I don't think many people know that,
Yes. I'm a Joseph Pilates nerd, so I'm glad you're bringing his topic up.
Awesome.
He was born in the 1800s and was actually kind of a sick kid himself. He was the son of a father that was a boxer and a gymnast, mother that was a physical therapist. So naturally, that wellness industry or that fitness industry fit. But as a sick kid, he just kind of developed these methods that made him balanced, stronger. And no one knows this. I wanted to name the studio this. Controlology. He originally called his method controlology. I think after his passing, or at some point during his life, maybe they called it Pilates after his last name. But I really wanted to call my studio Controlology. And my husband goes, no, I don't think the neighborhood will know what that is. No one knows that, but it's the study of control. And that's why we do these slow movements. But Joseph Pilates rehabbed soldiers back via World War I. He grabbed, you do Pilates, so take this for thought. On a mattress, he took the spring out and attached it to their limbs. And that was the very first piece of equipment to get their limbs to move back and forth. It's just beautiful. I mean, it's so innovative and timeless.
For sure. I didn't know about the mattress thing.
Yes.
What was he sick with, Leah? I knew he was sick, but I don't know exactly what he was ill from.
It's funny because you don't hear of it these days. It's called rickets. It's where you just have weak bones. It's a calcium deficiency, which I guess now we're like inundated with vitamin supplements and whatnot. But so rickets and asthma were his crippling things that he went through, or ailments, and then overcame them. So
through doing the Pilates.
Yes, getting his bone density stronger through not just muscle building and heavy weight bearing, but through that resistance with your own body and flow.
Like getting the juices flowing and
exactly.
Yeah, the circulation.
But his thing is always, it's not superficially, right? It's not these superficial muscle groups. It's not these superficial things. It's deeper. So your muscles have layers, your skin has layers, and you can cover the surface all you want, but if you don't get to the deep root of the body, it really won't get fixed. And I mean, mentally, emotionally, physically, right?
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't do the deep work, it doesn't matter how much external makeup or, story or what, it just doesn't work.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's awesome that he was so forward in his thinking.
He really was. I mean, so innovative. I mean, you've seen the equipment, but people go, is it a torture machine? I'm like, no, it's like actually an apparatus that stretches you and assists you, but also you can resist it. So it's both therapeutic, but also strengthening too. And like little things where I just think he's so innovative. There's an exercise equipment called the magic ring or the circle, which most people know of. that was on a barrel of beer, or like a barrel of wine, we'll say. And he took that off and squeezed it back and forth. And that's where its originality came from. Crazy. The barrel is another piece of equipment, and he used that same wine or whatever barrel it was to do side overs. So he just took various things around him and worked with them.
Yeah.
So innovative.
Yeah. That's amazing. And creative,
Yes.
He's very creative. So I love that we're talking about this because, I want to talk about, the health benefits, and, obviously we both have experienced the physical, the looking in the mirror saying, wow, but talk to us about why it works. Like I want people to know about that muscle group that we use in Pilates.
Yes. So the main muscle group, your core. I think people come in and they don't really understand what your core is. And they go, I just want to work my core, my abs. Abdominals are a piece of your core. Your core consists of your pelvis, your back, and your stomach. So those three areas, create your whole midsection of your body. From there, you just got your head, your arms, and your legs. So that is your core, your stomach, your pelvis, and your back. And that is what you're using constantly in Pilates, which is why you can do it so much, because you're working the other extremities of your body, but maintaining that core activation.
Mm-hmm. So his belief, Leah, if I'm not mistaken, is if the core is strong, then everything else is strong.
Yes, that is his belief. And interestingly enough, have you ever heard of West Coast and East Coast Pilates by chance?
No, I've not.
Or like classical and now contemporary. Contemporary.
Oh,
we kind of surface around contemporary, but East Coast and West Coast Pilates. So when Joseph Pilates transitioned over to New York from Germany, he believed that babies are born with a flat back, which they are. But as we age, it becomes a little curvature to the spine. So there's two different teaching methods. And the East Coast Pilates still believes that the back is flat. Where West Coast, we go, no, we've transitioned, we've morphed, and there's curvature. Sometimes our spine's forward, sometimes our spine is back. So there's this whole debate, and people will call and go, do you teach East Coast or West Coast? And I go, what do you like? And how does your body respond to East Coast versus West Coast? But it's just fascinating I think if Joseph Pilates were alive today, he would agree that our body does transform. We're all on our phones, we're all on our laptops now. Yeah, our spine's going to change. So, but the core in general, yes, if that's strong, the rest of the body should follow.
That's so interesting. So, in somewhere in New York, their way of teaching is completely different.
And I don't want to generalize New York as a state, but there are places out there that teach very classical Pilates. And so another interesting fact is Joseph Pilates only had 100 moves that he would do. And I get a little exercise ADD. I could not stick to those 100 moves. If you locked me in a room, I couldn't. And I don't think a lot of instructors could, because we want to express our creativity. But some people stick and are true to that method, his method. And I think that's beautiful. But again, if he were alive today, I think he would contemporize it and be bored himself.
Wow. Yeah. That is really interesting. I didn't know about the 100. That actually reminds me of the Bikram method in yoga.
Yeah.
Where I don't even know. I think there's 52 poses in the traditional Bikram yoga. And then now obviously there's, people have made their own, tons of.
But isn't hot yoga so much more enjoyable now? Because I felt like I would do that Bikram and be like, okay, I have rabbit poses coming next, and this pose is coming next. And I would just know it and be like, surprise me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. It's funny because I'm a runner. So I think that sometimes for me, doing the same thing repetitively kind of is relaxing in a way, because I don't have to think. but other times I need diversity. But I wanted to get into yoga versus Pilates.
Yes. Yes. So yoga versus Pilates, it's funny because someone that doesn't know either goes, oh, they're the same, right? I'm a yogi. I love yoga. I'm also a runner. I love running too. I think I love it all. But with yoga, there's a lot of, I think, mental strength. You're put in a pose that you're uncomfortable in, and then you're required to hold it for like a minute. So there's that mental, like, I don't like this pose. I'm uncomfortable. I'm not doing it right. But you're on your mat. You're not going anywhere. So it's stretching while holding, right? With Pilates, you're constantly moving. So you're stretching while moving. And while you still might not know if you're doing it right or not, you still might be uncomfortable. You can at least like know that you're doing 5 more of those and be done. Where yoga, there's that hold, 30 more seconds, 20 more seconds. And there's this beautiful mental strength that comes with that, I think. And not that Pilates doesn't have that mental strength. It's just more balanced, I guess. You can do a pose and hold, and then we flow to a next one, and then we flow to a next one. So in sum, yoga versus Pilates. Yoga is stretching through posing, where Pilates is stretching through movement.
I love that.
Do you find that when you take your classes, like one is really mentally challenging, where one's like, oh, I just get it. I love it. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. How do I feel about, no, I understand that. I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm such a cardio person.
Yes.
That for me, like my mind just relaxes in that. Like I don't feel uncomfortable in yoga. And I don't really feel uncomfortable in Pilates. I mean, sometimes the moves are harder than, or the weights, I can feel it. I can definitely feel the smaller muscle groups in Pilates for sure. But I can see how people can be uncomfortable if they're not an exercise person,
I mean, you just hit the nail on the head. It's true. If someone just is not an exercise person and you put them in an exercise room, they're going to feel uncomfortable if they have to lift a 5-pound weight, right?
Yes.
If someone's not a runner, they're going to go, am I running on my toes, my heels, or what part of my foot? So I don't know. I think there's beauty in all fitness. Tell me, when you run, are you listening to music?
Unfortunately, I cannot run anymore.
Oh no, not at all.
I know. I walk okay. Fast, but I definitely, yes, I listen to music.
Okay.
Whenever I walk. I wish I could run, but I did the 2 marathons like kind of back to back. I did the full marathon, the rock and roll marathon in San Diego.
I've done that.
Have you? That was like my first marathon. It was the best ever.
Yes. Although I don't know about you, but I remember like feeling just so surrounded by all these inspirational t-shirts that are like, I'm doing this for my husband. I'm doing this for my grandma. And I'm like, okay, we're in this together. But like by mile 17, I was like, oh no, I'm done. Oh my gosh. But made it. And I thought the rock and roll would be good because I'm like, oh, it's music. But every time a band would play, I'm like, well, I want to stay and listen to them.
Yeah.
But you have to keep going.
Yeah. Were you told this? I don't know if this is what I did, because I was told to, as soon as you've crossed the finish line after the 26.2 miles, which you're like
0.2, by the way, that 0.2 is like, you're like, oh, I still have 0.2.
Yes. I mean, it's like, oh my God, the mindset that you have to be in, just reflecting back. But I was told to drink a cold beer right after I finished cross the line. I was told drink a cold beer because it relaxes you, but it also gives you that, thirst that you want.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's kind of what a good memory of.
I wish I would have known that. And I'm going to repeat that moving forward because I mean, you finish and you're like, WTF, I have shakes and chills, and I think I'm feverish, and they're wrapping you in foil and feeding you oranges, and you don't know what just happened. But you know what? That's really good advice. Just kind of take a chill pill.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I told my mom or my aunt, they were waiting for, just have the cold beer waiting, and I did.
Awesome.
It was awesome. It was an awesome feeling. And it's such a high,
It is. That runner's high is, I mean, endorphins, right? Like not even just generalizing it to like runner's high, but just those endorphins flowing. And I think that's what we all crave with fitness. Bummer you can't run anymore.
Oh, I know, Leah. It was the love of my life for a long time. A long time. I mean, the runner's high is like nothing else. It's like nothing else.
Well, we will replace it with something else.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say my mom was a runner. When I was a kid, I would see her run. So it kind of like I just did it because I knew it. But she's replaced it with dancing, with ballroom dancing. So I don't know. Maybe that's in my future. Some sort of dancing. I think what's that?
Try dancing, please.
Oh, I think I'd like pole dancing or.
Oh, do it. All of that. I got when I was certified in Pilates, I just kind of like ventured out and tried any certification, and one of them was called Pilates on the pole. I love that they like branded it. It was pole dancing, but Pilates.
Really?
So, yes. I mean, and it's liberating and it's fun. And when they use that quote, dance like no one's watching, I mean, I just think that that's like something to live by.
I'll have to get that information for.
Oh, I'm not even sure it exists anymore, that Pilates on the pole.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure you could find pole dancing somewhere and just activate your core and call it that.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Or burlesque or
exactly.
Yeah. So I think, I don't know, but I tried to run I think my last running like couple miles was in 2020 during the pandemic. Yeah. But I knew like, and I, obviously I wasn't doing much else. So I was able to really restore my body after, so it was like, but now I'm all over the place and I'm like, no, my body doesn't want that.
Sure. And again, as long as you can replace that feeling, I think that's the most important.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah. I think that's what people go to the studio for, into your studio for.
Yeah.
Your feeling. So talk to me, Leah, about, I don't even know if balance really is the word for it, but like, you're an owner of your own business, you're a mom, you're a wife. Like, what's your routine? How do you stay organized?
I have a lot of checklists. I just go through them. Luckily, I'm fortunate enough, and anyone in the fitness industry, I think, goes into it knowing like I don't have to get ready for work in the morning. I mean, I do. I throw on my workout clothes and throw my hair in a messy bun, but I don't need to be made up or in a certain way. And I get to go and work out and talk and motivate people. So there's already that. Another thing is with fitness, it's great with school hours because people kind of work out early in the morning. They're really not working out in the afternoon, right? Like it's rare that you see someone in there between 1 and like 3 p.m. And then they're back in there later on in the evening. So it balances out really organically with having children and school hours and stuff. And my husband, my partner, it works out as well. I mean, he'll get the kids ready for school in the morning while I'm teaching, and I'll get dinner ready when I'm home and he's working. So it's just, it balances itself out, fitness, or maybe I guess any like industry like that.
Right. My home phone is ringing. So if you hear that, sorry about that.
Is that a landline? Do you have a landline?
I do have a landline. I know.
I need one. We need one.
I do. Just for only one person calls me on my landline, my dad.
Right. But it's important.
It is. Because it's like, if I hear it's his name, then, I pick it up. If not, I'm not picking it up because it's a solicitor, you know, because he's the only one that calls me on the landline.
Landlines, we always say, like, we really just need like one in the wall, like on a completely different server, right? Or connection method.
And I feel kind of safe with it, to be honest, Leah, because if like, what if I don't know, like, what if something happens to my cell phone? It's like I have my, 911.
I get it. It's classic and it's tried and true. I get it.
Yes. And sometimes,
right. Our
Go ahead.
lights all go on based on our phone connection. So if our phone connection's down, sometimes like the house is dark, and I'm like, okay, like what happened to a switch?
Oh, really? That's interesting.
I mean, those smart homes, like that kind of stuff, and that technology. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's good to go back a few steps.
Right. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I want to know about like do you have like do you drink coffee in the morning? Like, what's your routine? Like, we're talking about fitness. We're talking about, just keeping our body and mind up. I think obviously we both are big exercisers, what's your mind thought or your thoughts around nutrition and all of that?
So nutrition, I'm about balance. I'm the first to admit, like, I will eat nachos and I feel great about it. And then I feel really guilty afterwards, as we all should when we eat that kind of junky food. But I also don't think you should deprive yourself from it. So my big thing in life is just balance. If you're going to eat bad for lunch, eat good for dinner. And if you're going to skip 2 days of working out and sleeping in, that is fine. Your body needs it. But, get up a little extra earlier the next few days, and just balance is so important for me, my family, and anyone around me. Balance is key. And even with the caffeine, right? Have a cup of coffee in the morning and crash, but you shouldn't have another one or another one or another one, because you're not going to sleep well later. So it's just that balance, and substitute something else like an apple that has sugar in it.
Yeah. So have you always been like that, Leah? Like growing up as a child, you were taught that balance of like eating, or?
Definitely not taught that. Like, grew up in that like microwavable era, right? Like two working parents, microwaved everything. So no, but I've become passionate about it just through the industry. I'm very passionate about balance, because I think I see clients come in that beat themselves up for eating bread. I'm like, oh my gosh, eat bread, eat it. But like tomorrow, eat a plate of vegetables kind of thing. So I think I've just become really like empathetic and compassionate towards, you can't live every day on a diet and this strict method. I mean, I guess some people can, but it's not really living. So balance, I've become very passionate about. And I'll shout it out to everybody. Balance is key.
Yeah. How do you handle clients that come in and like, just the energy about it, the emotional piece? Like, how do you handle that? Like, do you take that? Like, again, I'm such an empath, so I pick up on stuff so easily. And I don't know, for me, I take a lot of salt baths just to kind of cleanse myself. Is there anything you do?
No, I like this. I'm learning stuff from you. I like the salt baths. Are you a Pisces? I'm a Pisces.
I'm a Scorpio.
So okay. Oh, you're Scorpio. All right. So, but we're passionate. So Pisces already, like, they feel. So I already had that working against me. But on top of that, I'm also an empath. Like, sometimes I think I should go into Reiki and like just take everyone's negative energy. But I think I'm such a cheerleader by trade. And when people come in sad or emotional or even happy, whatever, I don't know, I just want to work with that. And I think if you come in and you're happy and you want to be happy, let's do this. And you come in, you're sad and you want to be sad. Okay, let's do that too. And it's okay. It's balancing it all and working with someone's emotions coming in the door and knowing how to too, right? I mean, I would never like close the door on someone that comes in unhappy or angry.
Yeah. I think that's the big takeaway, is just knowing how to work with that. And so, and then now bringing it back to exercise, like, what would you tell somebody that's listening? Like, how do you get to that knowingness about you and your body? Like, do you know what I mean? What have you learned around that?
Well, I think that if someone comes in angry or frustrated, right? If they just got in a fight with their boyfriend or husband or their boss, you want to pound that out. So that's when you want to like jump, run, angry music, they get that out. If someone comes in sad, I love opening the heart and I think opening the chest rather than this, because what we do when we cry, opening. So that I find with grief. And then like with happiness, it's kind of like, let's just do this. But again, yeah, exactly. But these are things that, you only know if you work with big group fitness. You can't feel that. There's too many people in the room. So I think that with the smaller group fitness, you can feel more. And that's how I address it. If I'm angry or if a client's angry, like I said, pound it out, jump it out, rap music. But alternatively, if sadness or happiness, we just move on with various types of movements, music, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Is that kind of where you're going with it? Right?
Yeah,
Do you feel the same way?
Just, I love talking about and just sharing how people can tap back into themselves. I think exercise is a big one, like I said, just to get out of the thinking mind into the body. For me, I have intuitive thoughts when I'm exercising, like I'm solving problems kind of like intuitively though. So it's not so, I'm going to use the word, it's not so masculine, it's more of the feminine. I'm allowing my intuition to talk to me through movement.
I like that. No, it's not so external, right? And that's, I think, what a lot of men that try Pilates, they're like, oh, this isn't hard enough. I'm like, okay, well, let's tap in. Let's go internal. And that's when you really find that true healing and that power too. And like the whole love your body, like love your life thing, it really is like when you really tap in deep, doesn't matter what shape or size or age you are, like you love your body and you love your life, but you have to tap into that inner strength first.
Oh, hands down, for sure.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah. Amen. So tell me about, like, it sounds like you have a handle on, your daily routine. I know you're a mom, and I don't know, just like talking to you, I know you're a great mom. And, we just got in the chat. We have 5 minutes left. So talk to me about like 3 non-negotiables in your daily routine. For Leah, not for anybody else.
I mean, so not for the family. Okay, for Leah, non-negotiable. Wash your face. I got a good like nightly routine that I don't care if it takes 30 minutes. I've got my routine. So my non-negotiable at night is I do that every single night, right? What else? I mean, balance, which we already discussed. I mean, I hate to use the word punish, but like in college, I used to like punish myself if I ate really poorly and drank too much or something like that. I punish myself and go, okay, well, today you're going to eat vegetarian or vegetables and you're going to run 6 miles. And I hate to use that, but really, I do think it was innate all along that it was this balance. And so using the word punish is not good. Using the word balance, though, is better. So we already talked about that. That is a non-negotiable for me. If I've been lazy all day laying on the couch watching Netflix, I need to get up by 6 p.m. But okay, nope, enough laziness, go walk around the block. So washing my face, balance. Oh God, what's another non-negotiable? I don't know, hydrate.
Hydrate. That's good.
Hydrate. That's an important one.
Yeah.
Like I'm never hydrated enough though. That's the problem.
Yeah. And I can relate to that whole like punishment type phase. Now exercise for me is, again, like we've talked about, the mind-body connection. But, for a while there, I felt pressured to be a certain size. I actually got signed with the modeling agency at 35 years old.
Wow.
So that's older, right? That's for the industry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I felt like I needed to keep my measurements the way the agency signed me. So it can get, I love what you're talking about because it can become off balance, if we have a different mindset, like why are we doing this? And I think that's important to address. It's not about
reprogram. Like, don't punish yourself, balance yourself.
or enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
Go dancing, find something you love,
Exactly.
Pilates at Eastbluff Pilates Studio.
Yes.
So awesome, Leah. Well, is there anything you would like to leave us with? Anything, anything, shout out to your instructors or whatever you want to leave us off with.
I mean, just shout out to the whole Pilates community because I think, and fitness community, because I think we all have the same foundation in mind, and that's just making people happy and feel good about themselves. So shout out to everyone in the fitness world.
Yeah. And thank you, because again, me as just a customer, I show up and just know I'm going to get a good workout, and I'm going to like it. I'm going to enjoy it. But we never put ourselves in like the shoes of the instructor and knowing how much goes into teaching a great class, a flow, like we've talked about.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you, Leah.
Oh, me too. I'm so glad you enjoy it. I mean, I think you've probably been doing Pilates longer than I've been teaching. I mean, really.
Probably.
I'm so glad you enjoy it. And we're just keeping our mind, body balanced and life balanced, right?
Yeah, and keeping happy.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you opened the studio. So it's amazing there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, Jenna. Thank you so much for having me today.
Of course. Yeah. Well, stay backstage so we can say proper goodbye.
All right, perfect.
Thank you.
Peace.
Yeah. Anybody that lives in Orange County, Newport Beach needs to go check out Eastbluff Pilates. It's a boutique Pilates studio. I just had this great conversation with Leah. I hope you guys took away some good tips and tricks about exercise and fitness. And as always, drink lots of water, eat lots of fruits and vegetables, have balance. Check out eastbluffpilates.com. And until next time, love your body and love your life. Take care.